Okay, so this is Leith Anderson together with Bobby Grace here and his hideaway workshop in Highlands, North Carolina. What a.
Yeah, don't tell too many people about Highlands because we have a very good thing going here.
Oh, okay, well, just the right people. So we came up here to look at really understanding what this Bobby Grace line is all about, and looking at the different models. So let's just kind of start with step through the different models and what each one is good for, and how about that?
I can do that. Let's start with this 18 blade model. The 18 blade is one of my favorite models for a number of reasons. The one reason this has been such a longevity model is, and by the way, this shape was invented on the tour in the 70s. This shape is in every line out there, from the Bettinardi's to the Camerons to this shape. We've given this special attention to the heavy slopes. We've made a bigger flange. Obviously, we have the 3 sight lines, which help for the alignment. And matter of fact, our new one that's coming out this next week will have an additional line on the top line. So you'll have a top line and the flange lines. So that helps you actually align it from a lie standpoint, not just an aiming standpoint. So now, every one of these putters, of course, have a radial face. That is a whole nother technology that most people don't understand. This puts an overspin on the ball instantly. As you see, even the bottom of the putter says instant roll HSM. That is important for us because we've been trying to achieve an early roll for quite some time. And not too many months ago, we hit it and absolutely now are ahead of all the guys, which is fun. Now this one weighs in at about 360 grams head weight. Okay, 360 is a great starting point. And I say starting point because if you notice on the sole, each one of these has an adjustable weight system. So the heel and toe weights are 13 gram stainless weights. We have 6 gram aluminum weights if somebody wants to go backwards, which I don't recommend. Some people do. I always recommend if somebody wants to go shorter in their shaft and you want to bring back the head feel, we have 2 other density tungsten weights, 22 grams and 29 grams each. So if you think about 26 grams or 32 grams additional weight is your max from 360. That's a lot. That's almost 400 grams total head weight. That's getting into the arm anchor version. So this can be all the way down to 30 inches. You can still retain the head feel, which the putters that do not have adjustable weights can't possibly achieve. Right. So that's very important. This putter has a decent amount of offset. If you look at it, it's got almost a full shaft of offset. This is for, I want to say, either the better player or the guy that can maintain his square hands through impact. If you can't do that, if you collapse at all, if you putt with the right hand, which I teach against, then you're going to have a left problem eventually, or under the gun.
And so that left problem, then you have to get away from
offset.
Yeah,
offset's not your friend. And what's interesting is the tour players, which obviously the tour players putt with this plumber's neck 3-diamond. I call it the Tour 3-diamond. The plumber's neck is so popular out there on the tour that everybody watching TV says, I want to putt with this. So they go and buy themselves a Cameron Newport or some sort of ping answer, and now all of a sudden they've got to maintain those hands like the tour players do. Well, that's not recommended for the average bear. And I say the average bear is 10 to 20 handicap. I'm talking about a decent player. Even that player should not be forcing himself to be a tour player. He doesn't practice 6 hours a day. He practices 6 hours every 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a lifetime.
Yeah. That's you're talking to most people, yes. So the plumber's neck, I make a beautiful Tour 3-diamond. This is adjustable weights. It's got just a fantastic shape in the back slopes. It's got a sight line on the top line, and the new one the next time will have a sight line on the top line and the back flange. I did this one for this last run of 100. I did one sight line, and I did it for the reason of I think Jordan Spieth is actually he's got something there with the top line only. I'm not a sight line fan from way back. I had to become a sight line fan because of my people that make me make things that they need. So I've had to adapt into the world of sightlines, not by choice. I was forced to. I putted with a design barrel of Palmer for 11 years in competition with no sightlines, and I used the line on the ball. However, I've now morphed into I use a line on the putter and a line on the ball, and that is, I think, an advantage. I think people that don't do both might have a disadvantage of getting themselves started in the right direction. So, but again, offset is not your friend if you have a problem with going left.
Yeah.
So there's the Tour 3 Diamond. It's a wonderful putter for those who can maintain the hand position. The ones who cannot, I have a wonderful putter that looks very plain. I want to compliment Seymour. They did very well with a very plain-looking putter. Zach Johnson's won 2 Masters with it. That's wonderful. Good for them. They even have the hide the dots theory, which I think is neat. I like that. But what that does is keeps your hands in a perfectly square position, which I teach. If you do that with a lofted putter, you're going to make contact with the bottom half of the ball and launch it, lift it, and backspin it, which we prove on our roll board with people that come in our studio. Well, this little plain-looking putter is a fantastic putter. It's got a radial face on both sides. It's got a great sight line setup. We call it the H because it's perpendicular parallel lines that really help. All right, now the key is the onset. It's actually got onset, not offset. The face is in front of the shaft on both sides. So if you're a right-handed, left-handed, or if you're a nota begay and you're doing both things at the same time, and you'd be surprised how many people call me and do that. I was shocked. I made this putter for a mini tour player who actually putted right and left. If he left it inside 5 feet, the first putt, he had to go to the other side because he couldn't function inside 5 feet from his right side. So he went to the left side. He carried 2 putters in his bag for 2 years on the mini tour until I made him this. And he ended up winning $13,000 his first week out. And he says, oh my gosh, I got an extra club in my bag. I sold so many more of these from people that saw it and understood the story that I couldn't believe how many people putt both ways, or they've gone to the other side because of yip problems. So this is a very, very effective putter. It's also drilled directly in both center of gravities. You have a center of gravity high and low in the face and deep in the head. This is drilled into both, directly into both. So this little unassuming plain-looking putter is more solid than any blade that we make, simply because it's drilled right in the CG. So when people hit a putt with this, they go, what is that? That is so solid. So I've had one guy that just took in some putters in Hope Sound on the east coast of Florida, and he says, I don't like the looks of that putter. I said, whoa, give it time. I said, you're going to be so shocked when you get people telling you that they want this one after working with them. So this is called the Switch Hitter CG. So, it's named properly. And they're milled out of stainless steel, 303 stainless steel, solid blocks. This one is the Low Pro. This is probably the most famous putter we have on our line. First time we designed the Low Pro was in 1996, and David Ogren beat Tiger Woods and Jay Haas in a playoff at the Texas Open with this Low Pro. So we've kept this shape on our line for a long, long time. It basically came from the Ping Answer with no neck, and that's in that history book of Ping that they call it the Answer X. Those used to be collector's items we sold for $5,000 and $10,000. It was a lot of fun. So making my own version of it is wonderful. The beauty of this putter is I have control over the offset. I bend these shafts by hand, especially when somebody has a specific need to, I don't want much offset, or I want some onset, and I still want to look at a heel shafted blade. We have that liberty to do that. So with our fitters, we can make multiple shaft offsets, and they can easily assemble it on site for the person's needs, which is neat. Adjustable weights on the sole, same thing. 360, right on up to 390 grams, depending on what you need for the length. The HSM insert, radial face, I mean, this has got a lot of technology in it, even though it's just the old style looking blade, and good heel and toe weights. All right, so now we have the, let me go get the F18, 1 second. Now, normally on the line, the F18 is black. This is my special limited edition called the Red Dragon, but this is the same exact.
So that's not one you sell in Japan.
Well, yeah, this is the one we sell this for a lot more money. We sell this for twice as much money as the normal F18. And it has 5 adjustable weights on the bottom. This is actually our most popular model for a number of reasons. Not just is it adjustable in weights, so we call it the Smart Fit F18, but it's also, if you look the face, the entire faceplate, the 2 screws here, comes off. So we have a soft HSM, a mid-firm, we have a tour firm, and we have a radial milled aluminum HSM. So that's for the guy that plays either with a very soft golf ball and wants a hard click sound. He wants a feedback sound. And some guys play like myself. I play with a Bridgestone, a soft Bridgestone ball. I think that's a good ball, one of a few that I play. But that one with the mid-firm is a really nice combination. This has a soft feel, but not too soft. It's got a little tighter than our old soft HSM, and it has a rebound in the face to where it propels the ball, so it actually has energy coming off the face. So this one, again, I have control over the offset, depending on what the people's hand position at impact is and what their tendency is on the path of their stroke. So this one comes face balanced initially, straight across, but we can make this even toe down depending on what we want to do with the shaft bend. So there are different abilities with these double bend shafts that the other putters don't have. Okay, now this is the one that's become quite popular. This is called the ass kicker shaft, and these are becoming more popular by the week because the people are finding out this is what's called a center of gravity balance putter, similar to my switch hitter CG. Well, this is connected in the rear, point in the center of gravities, and it's very, very solid because of that. So connected in the rear and it's super solid. It's a very, very effective putter. That's why it's called the ass kicker. So we named it the ass kicker. We wanted somebody to remember the name very easily. Like the first name of the putter that we hit became the #1 name of any putter in golf, actually at a golf club in the game of golf in 1995. That was the Fat Lady Swings. And that was just, we sold over 350,000 of those. That one went real well. Anyhow, the ass kicker shaft is, if you notice, it spins freely. There is really no bias of its face balance, toe down, because it's a CG balanced putter. It's a totally different game. This has a lot of onset, excuse me. If you see, it has almost a full inch, maybe even inch and a quarter if I measure that, onset. What that does is prevents you from going left. Literally, you have to position yourself because if anything, you'll push this right at first. So if you've got a problem with the lefts, you put this in your hands, you'd be surprised how it straightens it out. Now, so that one there is one that's you're going to see more and more. Now, the crazy one we just came up with, because people requested it, was the switch hitter F18. It's actually a mallet with 2 faces, a radial face on each side and drilled in the center of gravity. The first time Golf Digest wrote about my switch hitter blade, they had a picture of one with the right and the left face. It said double vision. It's just a great putter because it can be used right and left, and it has onset on each side. It's not for everybody. It's for people that need that much onset. People that don't need that much onset will not be able to putt with this, and it'll be evident when the first time you roll it. So this one, again, 4 adjustable weights, 360 to about 410 grams is where we can go with this, because we can put tungsten in all 4. Okay, now we have, this is a really great putter that I am shocked at how many we're selling lately. This is an F22. This is really, this came from the long putter. Originally, this was all 500 grams, drilled straight in the center and up front, and 80 degrees. Well, we found out through this ass kicker shaft, and yes, 80 degrees for a side saddle putter. There's people putting with this face on, not straddling the line, but face on, and it's legal. It's conforming to USGA rules. This one here is so solid, it's amazing. It's selling. I mean, I can't believe how many people call up and go, do you have the side saddle ass kicker? I mean, they know all about what they want because they putted with somebody else's that's out there in the field. The sight line on this is tremendous. If you notice that shaft bend, it runs right along with the sight line. So it's very, very easy to line up. It's got onset. It's got 7 adjustable weights. This thing goes from about 390 grams to about 550 grams. So it's probably the most wild putter we make. I say that because it's so different, because it could be a long putter, it could be a side saddle putter, it can be a arm anchor putter, all depending on where we drill the hole and bend the shaft. So pretty neat. Now, this is probably my favorite shape because it reminds me of my Oral Palmer Wilson from years ago. Now, the interesting thing is, this is called the 6313. There's 2 renditions of this. This is called the 6313 when it has the old 8813 lines on it. It's called the 6330 when it has no lines on it. And we have both coming out in 2 months, which is neat. We've never had both on the line. We usually have one or the other. Some people love sightlines. We found more people love sightlines. But we do have the guys that hate sightlines. And I have to cater to those people as best I can. Well, this is the coolest putter we make in a sense that this is an amazing story. I was making 5 handmade putters when I made this design. 5 handmades for customers. They were paying $1,400 a piece for them, which meant I took the hosel on a lathe from straight, put it in a vise, heated it up to where it was red hot, bent it by hand, each one of them, welded it onto the head. We CNC'd the head, but then hand-shaped the back flange, so each and every one of those handmade putters were slightly different. Different amount of offset, different amount of flange in the back. Well, I saw one of them in that batch. I said, oh my gosh, this is the best looking one I've ever seen. I pulled it aside, called the guy that was waiting for it, said, you're gonna have to wait for another month because I have to digitize this to make the production putter off of it. He said, oh, that'd be neat. It's neat that I'm gonna own the, I said, yes. Well, it's just like an oil painting. If you have an oil painting, you can't make the print off the oil painting until you paint the oil painting by hand. That's what this is. This is actually a digitized copy of the handmade putter. And it's the only one on the line that we've made it like that. Everything else is designed on SolidWorks and SolidCam. I just file CNC machines, and then we have an advantage there. You can see the weight and the CGs and all that stuff. But this is more of a feel putter. When guys are from the old days of the 8802s and the Arnold Palmers, they get this thing in their hand and they feel it, they go gaga. It's amazing. Well, 2 adjustable weights on the bottom, neat, radial face, lines, and we go the extra mile. I have True Temper, the long flare tip shafts, which are like my old Arnold Palmer putter. So I mean, this thing's really, for the $375 on the line instead of $1,400 handmade. I mean, this is a great putter, and it's 303 stainless steel, so it won't rust. All right, we have another mallet putter that is. This is probably the most popular thing on tour, which you see the Fang. They call it the Fang, or I think Odyssey makes the 7, and Cameron makes this and that. They all make their rendition of the Fang. You know where this all came from was Bruce Litsky. Back in the Langert days, he had these pipes coming out, and it was a design that of a company called Langert made. And everybody looked at it and said, well, that's really weird. That's wild. I couldn't putt with that. Well, ask Litsky if he could putt with it. He made a lot of money. Ted Treba had 8 birdies in a row on the PGA Tour, which was a record for many years, with a similar putter, the Langert putter. So when you see this, this is not a new design. This is a rendition of one created in the 70s. However, we have a tendency to make things most expensive because we're a small company. We could do that and put it out right away. We mill the front body out of aluminum because you want all the weight in the back and wide. So this brass is the heavy and the reason for the inertia, and the front is anodized aluminum where you don't need any of the weight. This thing here is face balanced, 71 degrees. It's got a nice sightline set up, T-bar on the top, 2 in the back. The triplane sole, so there's very little drag. You can putt from the fringe, and it glides right through the grass. This one does not have adjustable weights. It's 360 grams. It's the way it comes. Black chrome shaft. This is a great putter. The inertia on this putter is 8,700 grams cubic centimeter squared. 8,700 is the MOI. The original 2-ball putter we're all familiar with, 3675. That's what the 2-ball putter MOI was. This is 8,700. What that equates to, the sweet spot, instead of being here, goes all the way to the end of the face. The entire face is a sweet spot. If you hit it here, it goes dead straight and doesn't open or go right. So it's pretty incredible. It's a very, very powerful putter. But the guy that doesn't want to pay $450 for that putter, we have made him one that is much more reasonable, $325. This one's milled out of, or not milled, it's cast out of stainless steel. The face is milled and the radial face is milled, but this one here is investment cast, stainless steel, great sightline setup, and it's about 375 grams. There's not adjustable weights, but it's heavier than normal. So if you wanted to cut it down to 34, 33, it still works. This has the triplane sole, so it has the ability to glide through the grass, and the face balance shaft. And again, I can control how much offset or how much toe down if somebody does not want a face balance putter, which some people don't. Now, one more mallet I want to share with you about. It's a very popular size mallet. This is similar to the original Fat Lady in its size. Now, the funny thing is, it doesn't look big anymore, does it? Back in '94, the Fat Lady was huge. That's why we called it the Fat Lady.
Yeah.
By the way, it was not called the Fat Lady Sings. It was called the Fat Lady Swings. So it ain't over till the Fat Lady swings. So take off on the old cliche. This one's called the Fat Man. And what we've done is we've filled in the cavity that we used to have on the Fat Lady. And we have what we call, I call it the ski slope, but it's a T-bar sight line that, so you have your, again, your parallel and perpendicular lines. It's wonderful. It has a stair step, so that's more perpendicular alignment set up. This one here has the double bend shaft, how much offset you need, or whether it's toe down. 4 adjustable weights, goes all the way to 400 grams. And let's see, the interesting part about this, all right, it's in today's world of crazy shape putters, this is a very normal shape putter now. It used to be out of the box. Now it's very acceptable. I have a lot of people gravitating to this putter. A, it's very solid. B, it looks nice. It's pleasing to the eye. It's not like the fork or the fang one, you know, the night and day we call it. That's either people are going to love it or hate it because they can't look at it. It's so big. Some people say, well, I could try that. And they feel so solid with it and they go, uh-oh, I got to try this. So this is one of my favorite putters for a mallet guy that really wants something that's an acceptable size and shape. So the Fat Man is for them. And that's it. That's the line of Bobby Gray's putters.